Thanks for staying with us. Now, in preparation to 2021 budget proposal, the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget will be having a consultative forum scheduled to start from the 28th of July through 29th, 30th, and then the 3rd and 4th of August 2021. Now, this forum, which gives an opportunity for citizens, residents of Lagos State to let the government have their inputs and recommendations into the budget preparation against next year, as well as create an avenue to report the projects and programs executed based on outcome of the last consultative forum. Joining us on the show now to discuss further is the Honorable Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Lagos State, Samuel Egube. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning, Veronica.
Right. Now, let's understand the rationale behind this consultative forum for the budget.
Okay, I think we just need to have the perspective that governance, first and foremost, belongs to the people. And therefore, at periodic moments, those who are in government must give an account, and is the basic system of accountability. The second thing is that in addition to giving an account for the people, it's important to facilitate the participation of the people in governance. Mr. Governor did say when he was campaigning that power belongs to the people, but it goes beyond the ballot boxes. It goes deep into participating in governance. So I think it is the role of government also to encourage the people to participate. Like I would normally say, you don't love the people the way you think they should be loved. You love them the way they want to be loved.
Absolutely.
So you always have to calibrate and recalibrate and realign your understanding of how you are reading them to just be sure that you're on course. But at the same time, accounting back to them for what you all agreed at the previous consultative forum to say, this is what we've done, these are the challenges we're facing, these are what we are doing to overcome those challenges. That's the idea.
No, she has an...
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask the extent you use the feedback gotten from each consultative forums, because I know that you do this almost on a yearly basis. How far do you go with the feedbacks you get from the forum?
So it's a process. You take the information which you've received, then we communicate to the respective ministries and agencies to say, this is what the people are saying, these are the concerns they've raised, these are the things they say they want, right? Don't forget that the entire team's agenda came out of that kind of consultation. It did not come out from Mr. Governor's head just like that. He had to consult with the people, and basically this is what they say they want. Now, we will have a bilateral session during the budgeting process where we basically just calibrate to be sure that what the people are asking for are in the respective budget of the ministries. But this is not the only engagement that will happen. The House of Assembly will also have a stakeholders meeting as well. The idea is that you can't see Lagos from one set of lenses. And we will then engage the House of Assembly again in that budget process to say, look, this is what we heard from the people. This is what we think the budget should look like. These are the priorities, the way we see it. And they will say, yeah, we agree with you, but we had this and this that you seem to have missed out. And we'll look at everything. And that process then ensures that the things are captured in the budget. Now, of course, the budget is that bill, that law that actually says how we will allocate resources in the course of the year. So if it's not in the budget, it's difficult to implement, except it is coming from external investment, from external sources, which doesn't come into the budget protocol.
Okay. So many people will tell you that, you see, when it comes to government, we don't want to get involved. They don't listen to us anyway. They don't implement anything that we've asked them to. So in what ways are you trying to make sure that, you sort of change that thinking and assure Lagosians that it is okay to be part of this forum and give your input, and then you'll see it being implemented?
Okay, so when you deal with a society, everybody have different sets of paradigms and different sets of belief systems. From a principle standpoint, there is no government that wants the people to say no to them. So irrespective of how you see it, the government must respect the people. I also say that the people in every way are truly more powerful and more resourceful in terms of how much resources they have. Because what does government really have? Government has a small percentage of their income in taxes. So maybe about 75, 80% of the resources that the people have in the state is still with them. And government needs to encourage them to make that investment. They will not make the investment if there's no trust, if there's no transparency. So we in Lagos are a leading light in the areas of transparency and accountability. We are audited regularly by the World Bank based on whatever criteria they fixed, and we always scale the hurdles. But beyond that, it's the people of Lagos that would, again, say you are transparent enough or you are not. And all of these forms of engagement, we hear what additional information might they need, what level of additional transparency do they require. I publish every quarter the performance of the state as it is in the budget. We have periodic briefings, ministerial briefings to the state. We have an office in cabinet called civic engagement, who by definition and rule goes into the various segments of the society to ensure that information goes out. But it is beyond giving out information. It also goes to how we perform. It also goes to how you listen. So we have different mechanisms for measuring performance. This week, the Deputy Governor will be hosting a performance management system, which we call the peer review mechanism, where each MDA in their groups would give an account of what they are doing, how they are executing on projects, right? That mechanism goes on. And then periodically, we also face the House of Assembly, right? Every time we're in cabinet, right, a commissioner, a special advisor, we need to account for one thing or the other. So it's a very robust performance management system. But like I always say, it's not just about telling the people, right? I think that love and commitment is about listening more than just speaking, right? And these systems are set there for people to speak and for us to listen, right? And if we listen correctly, then we will do what we need to do. And they help us as a platform to recorrect or realign what we, sometimes you think you heard something correctly, but maybe you really didn't, right? And that's what it's about.
All right, YK.
Yeah, can you just give me one or two examples of what you've implemented that you heard? One or two that you've actually implemented.
Okay, so let's put it this way. When you look at the waterways, it's an area that people have said, look, let us activate it. Let us make it work for Lagos, right? And the jury is out there as to whether it's a profitable venture or something that needs to be subsidized. And what we have said to ourselves is let's put our skin in the game. So we've invested a lot in vessels, right, to just ensure that let's start it. It's not for government to run it, but we expect that when people see what's going on, right, they will then invest in transportation on the waterways. Right, so you've seen a lot of commissioning of various vessels. We're also running a multimodal system. So the people said, oh, you've restricted Okada from moving like this. So how do we, if we enter the major buses, how do we get to the last place? And so the government reasoned, and in consultation with the people, with the traditional rulers, the unions and all of that, said, okay, let us start up what we call the last and first mile initiative, which is basically taking smaller buses that will move you into the inner cities, right? That also came as a result of thoughts coming from the people. Now, Lagos transportation system has always been a challenge. And research and consultation from the people shows that you cannot really outbuild the matter, right? It's not about more roads and more. So you need a mass transit system.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, you hardly have subnationals doing rail because of the huge undertaking.
All right. You know what? You have to hold your thoughts because we need to quickly go on a short break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We still have our guest, the Honorable Commissioner for Planning and Budget, Lagos State, Samuel Egube, and we've been talking about the consultative forum that Lagos State is coming up with. Before we went on the break, you talked about the role traditional rulers played, and one of the concerns is that this consultative forum brings together stakeholders, like you mentioned, talking about the traditional rulers from the 5 divisions of Lagos. And we are wondering how we're ensuring evenness of development across these divisions. Yes, you're involving them, but how have we had that evenness to ensure development across the 5 divisions of the state?
Okay, so you try to bring about evenness, but certainly development comes in different ways in different areas. I mean, if I want to put an airport somewhere, I can't put it everywhere, right? So we always have that conversation. I mean, the entire process ensures that no one is left behind. In fact, recently, Mr. Governor did flag off what we call the 377 ward projects, which is projects in every ward. Now, the ward is the smallest unit, right, of the structure of every state. And how did we do that? We didn't just put it to them that this is the project you should have. We engaged them and we asked them, what do the people need? Right? We just need to be sure that nobody is left behind. In doing all the big and strategic things, which cannot be everywhere, we need to be sure that we are able to speak to the need of the people in the smallest units of Lagos, right? Now, that, of course, is balanced by the fact that in cabinet, you have people from different divisions of Lagos in cabinet, right? In the House of Assembly, you have people who represent different constituents. And it is all of these voices that come to craft out what needs to be done. So that engagement is not a static engagement that starts and ends with the consultative forum, but it's something that continues also as we move on, which is why it's so important that people do not stop speaking. People continue to speak.
Right.
And I think that it is that accountability that helps everyone build better and correctly.
Maria?
An appraisal of Lagos State, giving all the consultative forum, the feedback you get, how would you compare the past and present, and what do you think the future holds for Lagos State?
We've made a lot of progress. One of the things I was being interviewed recently, and to say, look, what is unique about the budget, the 2021 budget? And I said it is the leadership of Mr. Governor, the audacity, the size of his mind to dream big. I mean, we couldn't have imagined that we will be streaming out 2 rail lines to try and bring it to completion. When that is complete, and it will be completed within the next 2 years, we'll move 32 million people every month. It will cut their journey time by 50%. It will come with 10 bridges, or what we call overpasses. It will completely change the landscape on the route of those rails. That is extremely significant. We are doing the Eleko to Ekpe road now. It's a complete new road. 6 lanes, concrete and rigid pavements on both sides, because we are beginning to cite what will happen on that axis once the refinery, the deep sea ports are coming. And these seaports, right, it's to the credit of this government to galvanize additional investment to get it completed. And you had about over $600 million in investments going in that direction. That place will prepare us for the African Continental Free Trade Agreement onslaught. It will put Lagos in a place as a hub for the rest of Africa. Now, there is a heightened focus on the technology space. We're building a 3,000 broadband mesh around Lagos for high-speed internet to the homes. And on top of that, the Smart City initiative of intelligent cameras to help us with traffic management and with security. But we're also investing in startups. The Lagos State LASRIC, which is our Research and Innovation Council, we're putting money behind startups. Last year, we put about 250 million. A lot of those developments, some of them are in patenting stage right now, right? And it will create a lot of jobs for people. So there's a lot of change between before and now, and there's a lot to look forward to when we begin to talk about what is happening in the healthcare systems, the system by which healthcare will be managed both on the demand and the supply side, right? It's something also to look forward to.
Up the Lekki road because I was in 10 hours traffic to Awuyaya.
From where to where?
From my house.
10 hours.
5 hours to go, 5 hours to come back. I got home 10 o'clock that night. Please, this road, where do you want to build it?
What did you say?
The road that you are building.
It started as we speak.
Where?
It's down
It's from Eleko
Because
going towards Ekpe.
Yeah.
is it a new road?
It's completely a revamp.
No, not revamp. Is it a new road? Because you know what I mean. If you say, okay, those of you who are going this way, go this way, build another road that's to accommodate, because there are too many cars in Lagos. Traffic, you know, one of the I know you're not commissioner for transport. One of the real problems of Lagos is the traffic. Traffic, and
It's been tough.
It's been really tough, and that's what's giving the hoodlums align them to break into cars and steal from people. Like when you're inside traffic, you spray out. Hey, let it not be my turn this today. You know. So I really need to know about that new road. Is it 10 hours I spent in traffic that day? My life was wasted that day.
So if we do not do that road, right, it will get worse.
Yeah.
Right. So the road that you're talking about is probably a 2-lane road. We're making it 3 on each side. Right. Now, one of the challenges of that road, especially when you look at the soil condition, is the trucks that will be going on that road. The current road can't carry that level, and that's what is leading to the destruction. What we're putting there is a rigid concrete, reinforced concrete road, right, with lay-by, so that the trucks, if they get spoiled, they don't stay on the road, they can park. So it's a completely different scenario. In addition to that, we have started the regional road, which will move from VGC parallel to that to Freedom Way. Right, so that people will have alternatives to move from that place.
It has to be a new road, though. Not that same road, though.
Yes, the regional road is a new road.
Okay, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. So we know that crude oil is not a strong generator of revenue at the moment. I want to know what Lagos State is planning in terms of generating revenue, aside from just banking on the federal government to give them money or taking loans to be able to build infrastructure, like you have mentioned.
Okay, so crude oil might not look like a winning product right now, but it remains a significant contributor to national revenue, in fact, very significant. But the interesting part is that the Lagos economy is so strong and resilient. It only derives 20% of our revenue from federal allocation, right? That makes us a resilient city and a leading light as to how fiscal structures should work in Nigeria. How be it, the amount of investments required for Lagos still far outstrips the amount of revenues which we get. I mean, we need to quadruple what we get to ensure that there's sustainability in the development around
Which has generated
Lagos.
concerns, especially because of our the debt level of the state, which is, you know, when people look at, you know, the generation and then you talk of the development and then the debt level, the debt profile, all of it, it's something that has been of concern. But I know that we can't address that here.
No, I think we can
quickly,
actually, because it's a quick thing. Don't always look at debt as a number.
Okay.
Look at your debt service. How much do you need to pay? Because it is that calls on your cash flows.
Okay.
Right? And Lagos has the best sustainability profile in the country today. We are 22%.
We'll leave the conversation there.
Right? 30% is the benchmark, and it's our own internal benchmark, and 40% is generally accepted.
There now. I know you want to
rules.
hit the nail on the head with this.
So that we
but
understand it clearly.
Let's leave the conversation here now. Honorable Commissioner for Planning and Budget, Lagos State, Samuel Egube.
You come back again.
Okay. Samuel Egube, thank you so much for
Thank you very
your
much.
time.
It'd be nice joining you.
Yes. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll have another conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.